Good morning, Facebook. Thank you so much for joining. Please give us 2 minutes for this video to show up on our timelines. Thank you. It's so good to have you. Thank you. Come on in and let us know where you're joining from. Good morning. Okay, the video is right here. All right. Good morning, Facebook. Thank you so much for joining us. Dr. Tillman, I have the video on your page already. So coming in and let us know where you're joining us from. It's the Civilized Presence. You are in the right place at the right time. We're here every Mondays and Fridays at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Sometimes we show up at different days because, of course, it's a special session and I have a very special guest with me in the house. So please let us know where you're joining us from. Coming in and just start up a watch party on your page. Invite other people to be part of what we're doing. Thank you, Esther. It's good to have you. Izzy from Canada, it's good to have you. Sandra, thank you for joining us. Thank you, Joy. Thank you so much. Wenga from Nigeria, thank you for being here. Thank you. Thank you. It's the Civilized Presence. Thank you. Hello, Beth from Kenya. It's so good to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us. And Beth is a civility expert in Kenya. It's good to have you in the house. Thank you, Nene. Thank you for joining. Thank you. Come into the video and just let us know where you're joining from. Come in and say hello to Dr. Deborah. She's here. And we're so excited. We've been looking forward to this session, and she is here now. Guys, I am so pumped up. I'm so excited. I feel like screaming that I am working here today with my special guest. I am so excited. Thank you, Beth. Thank you. It's so good to have you in the house. Thank you. Thank you, Janet. It's good to have you. I can see more people coming in. So just come in and let me know where you're joining us from. If you're not joining directly on my page, I might not see your name. I'm just seeing the numbers, but I want you to know that I really appreciate your making out time to be here. Welcome. Some of you are here for the first time. Civilized Presence is an online TV session where lives are changed, where people discover their self, their purpose, and their voice, and of course, learn social skills to thrive in the real world. So if you want to become a change maker, you are in the right place. Welcome. Are you here on replay? Welcome. Did you find the post on someone's page? I don't know how you got here, or maybe you're going to be watching this on Instagram, but I really do appreciate you making out time to be here. So those of you who are already here, there are a lot of comments coming in. Dr. Deborah, we're so excited to see you. So I have 3 screens here and everyone is just saying hello, hello. We are excited to have you in the house. Thank you so much. So guys, if you're here, do me a favor. Please step out for 1 second and just share this video on your page. Invite more people. If you love what we're doing here, I bet you there are people on your network, on your platform who would enjoy what we're doing. So please don't enjoy this alone. Don't keep me as your best kept secret. Put it on your page, please. Invite people to be part of what we're doing. Invite your friends, your family, your neighbors, and your enemies too, because it's a good message. So we need everyone to be part of what we're doing. Thank you so much, Arlene. Sister, it's good to have you. Thank you, and thank you again. Thank you for joining us. Please share this video and invite more people to be part of what we're doing. So we always have a lot of new people part of what we're doing. Welcome, Renee. Thank you. Welcome, Gladys. It's good to have you. Welcome, Chama. It's good to have you from Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining. So if you are just here for the first time, my name is Louisa Akaiso, and I am going to be your host for today. Now, I feel so honored that you've responded to the call, to the post. I don't know where you're joining us from, but thank you. And you might be asking, who is she and what does she do? I'm a certified master civility trainer and a leadership coach and expert with the John Maxwell team. I work confidently with leaders and professionals that place great importance in themselves and their reputation. And that's going to be you this morning because you made out time to hang out with me. Aren't you special? Welcome, Ambassador Jaja. It's good to have you here from Uganda. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. All of the great people are here in the house this morning. So, what we do here every Mondays and Fridays or any other days that we're here is really to break down the concept of civility into tiny bits for you to understand how easy but important it is for you to be civil. And I always share that you can begin with little things like saying please and thank you, or even share a compliment, just like I'm going to do that right now with Dr. Deborah. That Dr. Deborah, you look amazing this morning. Thank you.
So do you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So I'm also going to share a definition of civility. I've chosen one from Dr. P.F. Funny. I call him the grandfather of civility. But he left us a couple of months ago, but he's here with us in spirit. And that states that being civil means being constantly aware of others and weaving restraint, respect, and consideration into that very fabric of awareness. So civility is a form of gracious goodness. And welcome, Arlene. It's great to have you. Welcome, Valeria. My GMT family is here. It's good to have you guys in the house. Thank you so much. Thank you. And give us some hearts. Give us some love. The heart means, Dr. Deborah, we're excited to see you. And the heart is the thumbs up. It's like, Louisa, keep going. We love it. So just give it to us. Support us with what we're doing. Now, if you're still struggling with that, civility is focused on positive people's treatment, treating others the way that you want to be treated. You can think about the golden rule. Apologize earnestly if you have to, and really pay attention to other people. So it's all about you being responsible for your actions and how to continuously ease the experience of other people. So if you have a chance to wake up in the morning, you know that you have another opportunity to be able to ease the experience of the person next to you. So my big question for you today is, how many of you have had a chance to even say hello to your neighbors? I know maybe people from Africa do that every day, but in North America, we do not talk to our neighbors. So I'm going to encourage you today that right after this session, even if you've never said hello to your neighbor, try to step out of your comfort zone and just say hello. Try to smile to them. Welcome, Sister Udrak. It's great to have you here from Nigeria. Sister Dulcie from Virginia. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Thank you again. Acho, it's good to have you. Wendy, it's good to have you here. Wumi, it's good to have you here. Tagu, it's good to have you here. Thank you so much. So you can step out of your comfort zone and just stretch out that hand of kindness. It's not about you. It's about treating others the way you would want to be treated. And sometimes I get this question all the time in the session, and people ask, Louisa, what if you're good to someone and they're not doing it back? It's not about getting it back, guys. There's something called humanness or human kindness. So you're doing it because you're human. You're doing it because you chose love. You're doing it because they deserve for you to treat them the right way. So just continue to do it. And that's why you are change experts. Come on. You don't want to be thinking about who's going to return it to you. That's not how we're going to impact the world or change the world. So step out today and do something that you've never, ever done before. Maybe buy someone a cup of coffee, ask them how they're doing, or even smile to them, say something nice. My mom used to say, if you do not have something good to say, keep quiet. So don't try to spoil anyone's day today. Okay. So some of us might have seen the topic of today, or maybe not, but it is such a great topic that touches my heart so much. The heart of parenting. And I have the best person. Guys, if you're just joining us and you're still wondering, am I in the right session? You have the American Supernanny right here in the session and you're not giving hearts. What are you doing? Come on, give us some hearts, give us some thumbs up. If you have to scream, somersault, whatever, I want to do that, but I have to sit still because of the camera. So I'm so excited that she is here to share all of her awesomeness with us. And Dr. Deborah, I'm just going to say thank you for the work that you do and really give you an opportunity to say hello to the audience. Over to you.
Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. Yes, this is the day that the Lord has made. So I am grateful and honored and humbled to be here anytime that I can come out and talk to anybody, like I'm that neighbor. I talk to anybody. I don't care who they are, a stranger in the post office, walking down the street, because I do believe that we are the light of the world, and it's up to us to really show what that means. And so thank you everybody for joining us on today. Prayerfully, you'll get the nuggets that you need to go out, not just for you, but to spread to the world.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for such a great introduction and welcome, Stephanie. It's great to have you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you again. There's so many parenting experts on the line. I'm so excited that the right people are here to get the knowledge, to get the wisdom, and just pass it on to other people. Now, parents are supposed to be a child's first teachers or role models, because children are most affected by what parents do, not just what they say. So if you get in the habit of telling your kids what they should do, this is what I want you to do. You should be this, you should be that. Now it's time for you to talk to you too. So they're only going to do as you do, not as you say. And this is only going to happen. And welcome, Pastor Jane. It's great to have you here from Kenya. Thank you so much for being part of this. Thank you. I appreciate you. This is only going to happen if parents spend more time with their children, really addressing what their concerns are. Because I know that we're very busy, like in North America, first thing in the morning, boop, you're out and you're back later on. But we have to take out some time out of our busy schedule. And it's not just going to happen. We have to be intentional about it and sit down and spend time and look at what the child is doing. So the conversation this morning is really, my big question for you, and I'm sending this back to you, is how do we parents help our children grow up to be that best kid, to be kind, to be compassionate, to be responsible, to be a respectful human being? And that's what you're going to be learning today. So now that you've had all of that, and Ambassador Juma, it's great to have you here from Kenya. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Now that you've heard all of that, do me a favor, bring people in, because this is a topic that has to be very interactive. We have the expert in the house, so you can bring your questions on. She's happy to work with you. It's going to be difficult for you to get her on national TV and ask your questions, but you can ask your questions here. So bring your questions on. What are your personal experiences? What are the challenges that you're facing with your own children? Or even if you don't have kids, maybe you're asking for your neighbor. That's okay. You're asking for your sister. That's okay. Bring in the questions. What are you facing? What are those things that you want to learn about how to become the best parent that they can be? So let me tell you a bit about Dr. Deborah, because some of you might not have read the post. Dr. Deborah is a consultant, a speaker, author, founder of Happy Home Child Learning Center. And she's America's Supernanny, yay, on Lifetime Television. And she's the president of the Parenting Movement, which is a non-for-profit organization that seeks to rebuild and restore families worldwide, labeled a force for good by the Washington Post. Among her many accomplishments, Dr. Deborah has been a recurring parenting expert on the Harry and Steve Harry daytime talk shows. She has also been seen on The View, Today's Show, Katie's Show, Wendy Williams, Great Day Washington, and CNN, to name but a few. In 2018, Dr. Deborah was asked to join the faculty of the #1 leadership expert, John Maxwell team, to create parenting and family content all over the world. She is the author of Stepping Out on Faith, How to Open a Quality Child Care Center, and Parenting on Purpose, a menu for raising children in today's society. In 2017, Dr. Deborah designed an online program, Greater Parenting System, GPS, that supports parents as they become the best version of themselves so that their children have every opportunity to reach their fullest potential and divine destiny. She also created her own childcare curriculum called The Guiding Lights, from infants through age 5. Dr. Deborah is on the board of Child Care Aware and Think Orange, a division of the Rethink Group with Reggie Joyner and Kristen Ivey. So, Lifetime television executives have called her a miracle worker, but Dr. Deborah humbly states that she is a proud mom and humble servant that is doing the work of the Lord with a light shining bright for children and families everywhere. Oh, when I saw that, Dr. Deborah, I was like, Louisa, you have a lot of work to do.
We
You,
all do.
yes, you're such an inspiration, I must say. I am so inspired by the work that you do and really being able to reach out and just keep doing, just keep growing and creating systems that work. Because
Right.
sometimes you might want to do the right thing, but if you do not have the right resources around you, then it becomes very challenging. So those of you who are parenting experts here, some of us are there, a lot of school teachers here online right now, a lot of ministers in the word, there are a lot of women leaders, professionals. Dr. Deborah has created a system or systems that works. Anything that has to do with a child care center, setting up one, anything that has to do with parenting education, education for children, the young people up to ages 5. I thought that was incredible because at that age, listen, guys, if you do not know, when kids go from ages 0 to 6, that's when they're like a sponge. They absorb everything. Everything just gets in. Everything gets in. So you want to be sure that you're pouring the right thing in. So you can have access to all of this, and I'm going to share with you how you can reach out and just grab some of those contents that Dr. Deborah will be able to tell us where we can find some of these resources and be part of what you're doing, whatever programs that you have. So I'll just go straight to the deal of the day, guys. My very first question for you today, Dr. Deborah, like we get started, is really to find out what civility means to you. Let's begin from there. Over to you, Dr. Deborah.
Civility. Wow, that's a good question. For me, yes, it is the golden rule, treating everybody with, the way you would like to be treated. But what I found was that when I work with a lot of parents and families all over the world, a lot of them don't treat themselves in the best manner. And so it gets a little confusing. So what I say is that just go out and work on being a light. Marianne Williamson wrote a poem, and I think it's called The Deepest Fear. And the first lines is the deepest fear. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. And it is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. I think we live in a world that is, very fear-based right now. I think that we're dumbing down society. I think we have children that are being abused as opposed to tended to. Yeah. Children that are neglected as opposed to being nurtured. And, a lot of people are drawn to that darkness, but I think there's more of us that are drawn to the light. And love can shine even in the darkest places. So I think it's about turning on that light, turning on the light of forgiveness, turning on the light of kindness, turning on the light of not being judgmental, turning on the light of love and respect. And then when we do that, that's when we can change the world and impact society in a way that's transformational.
Wow, I love that. I love that definition. And, guys, I learn every day. When I have experts in the house, I always want to learn because there is something to learn. Everyone sees the world differently. So turning on the light, I'm going to put that on. Guys, listen, if you do not have a reason to get up and just do what you're supposed to do and live in alignment with your purpose, remember the statement from Dr. Deborah, turn on your light. Your light is unique and it's for your tribe. So it's your responsibility to turn it on and stretch out and impact their lives. And welcome Susan Jacobs, image consultant in Canada. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome Stacey Stentz. Welcome Kate from Canada. I'm so popular in Canada today. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the support. Okay, so this is going to take me to my next question for you, Dr. Deborah, is how can parents set limits and really be consistent with their discipline towards their children? Over to you, Dr. Deborah.
So let me just start with the fact that, what is your why?
Mm.
And I think it's important. Mark Twain said the two most important times in our life are the day we're born and the day we find out why. My why came in probably 1992. I got married and had a son, and we had 7 child care providers in 3 months. So he was being abused, basically. And I won't go through the plethora of stories, but the last one was when I found him in a back room and he was in a car seat. He was actually in a bassinet, not a car seat, but he was in a bassinet. And the wall was holding up a bottle that he had in his mouth, and he was sucking air. And so by the 7th time, I was frustrated and confused and just kept asking the wrong question. I kept asking God, why me? Why me? Why every time I go pick up my child, he has a bruise on him? Why is he getting the wrong breast milk? Why is he left in a car seat for 4 hours? Why? And I did not hear a word. But at the 7th, and I don't know if that was because it was the number of completion, but I literally surrendered to the Lord and said, what is it you want me to do? And I heard Louisa's 7 still small words. I want you to do it better. And I quit my job the very next day and started on this journey because my degree was in business administration and accounting. And I did not have an education degree. So I literally started in my home as a child care provider and went back to school and got a master's degree in early childhood special education and then a doctorate. But the bottom line was I heard from God. So I heard the end before the beginning. Stephen Covey said, begin with the end in mind. So I already saw the school when I was in the house.
Yes.
And so 10 months into that, I was already running the school like in my in-home house. I was running it like a school, but didn't have a school. Wow. And so 10 months later, I get a call from the general manager that says, I heard that you were running your school in your house. Wow. We just had a school that went out of business. They have 5,000 square feet. Do you want it? That's how it happened for me. And so it's been 25 years that I've owned Happy Home, and it's Christian Leadership Academy now, because we are very near and dear to making sure that the foundational principles of God is in the hearts of our children.
Wow.
Sometimes it's not just us telling a child, you need to listen, you need to be kind, you need to be compassionate. They need something on the inside of them that will root them and ground them in the foundation and principles of Jesus. And so that's what we teach at my school. But getting back to your question about consistency and discipline, really it's about the vision that we create for our children. I've been to so many baby showers as parents are pregnant, so many reveal parties, so many, what are we going to do? All this fluff and stuff for our babies, but we're not thinking about the vision we have for them. So yes, the parties are nice, the baby showers are nice, but you birthed this child to raise this adult. So how is that going to happen? And so I think it's about us creating the vision first and then putting some things in place, the beginning, in that I think, let me just take my child. I wanted him to be compassionate. I wanted him to be loving. I wanted him to be respectful and to be able to be resilient and have some grit. So in order to do that, that was my end product. What steps do I need to do in order to make that happen? And those are the things that I ask parents to do. So I have an acronym for parents. It's not just about birthing your child. It's about raising your child. And the P is for being prepared. Be prepared, first of all, and in position to adequately, that's the A, adequately raise, educate, nurture, train, and support our children. That is the acronym for parents. Wow. And I tell them that's what they, if you keep that at the forefront of your mind, then we would do a better job at helping our children reach their fullest potential.
That is such a powerful story. And thank you so much for sharing that. Because this explains all of the work that you do. Because when you know your why, you cannot sleep. It's like it wakes you up in the morning.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow. But that is so inspiring because, a lot of us still struggle with, is this what I should be doing?
Right.
Am I the right person to do it? And I just love that you said you got up and just started going. You didn't know how. You didn't know how it's going to happen, but you just started. So when God gives us the assignment, and he always provides the tools, resources,
Yes.
the house. There's going to be a process, but he will be there. And for those of you who are not people of faith, well, I am. So I apologize. So it could be God for you, it could be something else, but the higher person for you will not let you go. I mean, when we give you that assignment, he's going to be there all the way. Wow, thank you so much. Thank you. That was so encouraging. And thank you so much, Silk. It's great to have you. Thank you so much, Akin Ropo. It's great to have you. Thank you. Thank you. There are a lot of people who are online this morning. Tammy, it's good to have you. Nyapungo, it's good to have you in the house. Thank you. Thank you so much for all of you who are sharing. Do us a favor and just share this video and invite a lot more people to be part of what we're doing. Yes, the topic of today is the heart of parenting. So bring in your questions. We're ready to go. And this takes me to my next question for you, Dr. Deborah, is how should parents go about making that time for their kids? Because that's something that a lot of parents, I hear from so many parents, I'm so busy, I'm working 2 jobs, I don't have time, I get back, I'm so tired, and the weekend is for me. And a lot of parents like, I need to have my me time. So now we have the work time and the me time, and the children have no time. So how can we make our time, and how is this so important for us to do so? Over to you, Dr. Deborah.
Well, though I feel very passionate about that. We don't get a second chance in parenting, and we can have the propensity to destroy a child's, destiny. Yes. And so when you think about how important that is, how important that responsibility is as a parent, then it's not of how can I make the time, it's I must make the time. So I tell people, you either you fail to plan. People don't fail. They don't plan to fail. They fail to plan. And so you plan everything else in your life. You plan to go get your nails done. You plan to, when you're gonna, when you're gonna go to work. You plan everything. You plan when you're gonna go to shopping. Whatever. You need to plan the time to spend with your children. And I know that might sound a little archaic. Like, why should I pencil it in? No, you have to pencil it in. I think the most critical times, if I'm just dealing with, and I always deal with, parents who say, I'm so busy, I'm distracted, I'm overwhelmed. Well, that's what the world wants you to be. But when we're living by a higher standard, then we have to be intentional about at least making the time for our children because we birthed them. That's number one. So there are 4 critical times that I would say, if you're a busy parent, that I think are crucial in spending time with your children or planning out that time. First, rise and shine. You always want to be ahead of the game. So you want to get up before your children get up. And I used to wake up my child with a song, rise and shine, give God the glory, glory. Okay, that was his song. He'd be like, Ma, enough. But that's what I would wake him up with, because I always wanted him to wake up with a sense of wonder. Like, today is the day, God has created you and you're going to be great today and you're going to be wonderful. But it's something that I grew up with my parents. I had a father that did that with us every day. And so I passed on that good, habit to my child. So that's rise and shine. You always want your morning to start off in a sense of gratefulness. And then out and about. So when you're driving the children in the car to school or wherever you're going, you really want to talk to them about just, not why didn't you do the dishes? Complaining, criticizing. No, that is a time to just, we're driving and we're having fun, almost like the friend, because you want to really get them to speak and open up and really communicate with you while you're driving, because it's not, you can't look at them, but you can at least communicate with them.
Yes.
Then I would say meal times. Meal times are very, very important. I can't tell you, Louisa, how many times I'm at a restaurant and it's a family of 6 or 4 or 3, and everybody is on technology. And I'm like, why don't you come out to eat?
There you go.
On the cell phone. Like, I don't understand that. And so sometimes, because I know, some people know me, but a lot of people may not know my personality. I am that person that literally goes to the family and says, and starts talking to them. I don't go pointing fingers saying, why aren't you talking to each other? But I'm talking to them so that somehow they get to the point, By the time I leave the table, they put down their phones.
Yep.
It's really important because, you know, the meal times are so important. We don't eat dinner with our children anymore. And I remember growing up that at the meal table was when you found out about everything. You know, oftentimes you pick up from school and you say, how was your day? They say, fine, you know, one word. But then at the dinner table, you hear stories like, Johnny didn't treat me right at the cafeteria, you know, so-and-so was bullying me.
Yes.
So I really tell parents, plan out that time to have meals with your children together as a family. That is a ritual that has to be. And then finally, the fourth time is at bedtime. No matter how much time you have 2 minutes to go into your child's bedroom, even if you have 10 kids, 2 minutes to go into your child's bedroom and place a blessing on their soul. I did that with my son Zeppelin every single night, from the time he was in my womb until he grew up. I used to go in his room and say, Zeppelin, there is greatness in you.
Wow.
Every day, there is greatness in you. And I'll tell you a really quick aside to that. The important thing about me doing that was when he was in first grade, he came home and I said, he just looked different. And I said, what's going on with you? And he's like, fine, I'm fine. Wouldn't say anything. And it wasn't until I put him in bed that night and I put my hand on his heart and said, there is greatness in you, something that I had done all those years. And he looked at me in my eyes and said, my teacher doesn't think so.
Oh.
And I said, what are you talking about? And he said, my teacher, Miss Williams, she held up, I drew a picture, mommy, and she held it up and she held up another little girl's picture. And she said, which one is the prettiest? And all the children chose the other one. Now, you know, I was at that school before the school opened.
Of course.
I have to tell your audience, I'm a Jersey girl, okay? And, you know, you know, all conservative, but don't mess with my child. Like, I was like, horns come out. I am a warrior. I'm a bull. I do not play. And so, yeah, we had to really address that situation about, you know, shaming my child after I had spent so many years fixing those seeds of greatness inside of them. And so that's why I tell parents it's so important that you, as the parent, the child's first teacher, sow those seeds, because the world is going to try to, some of the world is going to try to take it out.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for sharing that. And of course, so many kids go through the same thing every single day. And if you do not, you know, become their friend, they're not going to talk about it. A lot of kids just shut it in. They'll never talk about it until things get so worse. So, you know, it gets really bad every day. We have to spend time with our children, find out how they're doing. And I just love, you know, when you're driving, because that's something that we have to learn. Because sometimes we think that when we're driving is a good time to get on the phone or, you know, listen to your music really loud. And your child is just sitting there and thinking, Mom, I have something I would love to talk about, but you're not even listening.
Exactly.
And so if you do not spend time with them, you're not even going to realize or notice if something is going on. Maybe their demeanor has changed, or, you know, they're kind of sad. You would not notice that. So thank you for sharing that. I think I would have been there too. Right, first thing in the morning. I'm going to be civil, but I'll be there.
Exactly. Civil disobedience, I tell you. Oh my God.
Yes. So thank you so much. There are more people coming in. We have Dwayne. Thank you for joining us. We have Carolina. It's good to have you here from Singapore. Look at that. We are global this morning. People are coming in from all parts of the world. And guys, let me take a moment to just tell you guys how special you are, because without you, the show will not go on. So if ever that I forget to do it, but thank you for all of you for believing in me. Thank you for supporting the work that I do, because without you, the show will not go on. And that takes us to our next question, guys. Some of you are just joining us. Teresa is here. The John Maxwell team, they're right here. So I feel good. They're right here now. Okay, so let me get back to the deal. So the next question for you this morning would be, as parents, how can we be good role models for our children? Because, you know, Olive Wendell, I love one of his quotes that states that we are tattooed on our creep the attitude of our tribe. So your parents might be coming from their parents with a different experience, of course, different kind of parenting. Now, how can we switch and create a balance where we're still a good role model for these children? Over to you, Dr. Deborah.
So, like you said, Louisa, children will be what they see. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
And I don't think that a child should ever have to go outside of the house to find their good role model. That should be us inside the house. They should look to us first. It's wonderful to have celebrities and people that they look up to. But when they can look inside of us and see that we are authentic,
Yes.
it's not about being perfect. It's about being present.
Yes.
If they can look at us and see transparency and vulnerability and honesty and see and watch the way we treat everyone else, then they learn by example. So I think it just comes down to leading by example. It's what you want your child to be in terms of not the doctor, the lawyer, but the compassion, the empathy, the passion. What is it you want from your child? What is it you want? What is your dream for your child? And it's usually those character traits. So I tell parents, mind your ABCs, your attitude, your behavior, and your character.
Wow.
So that means when you're in the car and you're driving and somebody cuts you off on the interstate and you are honking the horn and hollering and putting up your middle finger, you got little Johnny in the back looking at you.
That's true.
When somebody's in line and you're tired and you're waiting in line and people are slow and, they have to go back to get another item in the grocery store and you're huffing and puffing and complaining as opposed to saying, how can I help you? Then your child is watching. When you see the little 2-year-old in the grocery store throwing down stuff because they want candy and the parent is having a hard time and the child is having a temper tantrum and you're looking at them in judgment as opposed to going to them because you've been there.
That's
to say, how can I help you? Or just look at little Johnny and say, I need you to get up because we are the village and we are helping each other.
That's true.
If you do that, trust me, your children will see the example. They will follow. And that's why I say, particularly from 0 to 5, brain development is so important from 0 to 5. Those threads, the foundation, what they're learning, what they're hearing, what they're taking in. And if we can plant those seeds, like building a house, the foundation, if we can have a solid foundation, when you build the house, it's easier to stand as opposed to not building the foundation and then it's built on sand and it falls apart when the child is 13. And that's when I get the call at 13. And I'm like, could we have helped me out when they were
That is so true. It's so important for us to build better children today.
Yeah.
Think about repairing men. That's going to be a lot more difficult.
A lot more difficult.
That's going to be a lot more difficult. And welcome, Blessing. It's great to have you. We were just talking about Tate this morning, and Tate's mom is here. Welcome. It's good to have you in the house. Thank you so much for what you do. Thank you. And this is going to the next question for you, Dr. Deborah. Is a lot of children struggle with self-esteem, confidence, identity issues. How can parents, help those kids? Because sometimes you find that, of course, in a family setting, there are people with different personalities. So the parent can be an extrovert and the child is an introvert. And the parent is too busy dealing with that child. Or things are happening around that child is experiencing bullying and all of that, and they're just too busy dealing with that. And of course, it tarnishes the image of the child. And before you know it, it's too late. How can parents help the kids, to build their confidence or self-esteem? Over to you, Dr. Deborah.
Yeah, I love that question. I think one of the biggest things that we can give our children is self-worth, a sense of knowing who they are, so that when the world comes at them, they can stand on their own because their parents told them who they were. So I'm going to give your audience and our audience 5 fingerprints. Write this down if you have a piece of paper.
Yes.
5 fingerprints that I need you to put on your children. And this is just experience of working with, dilapidated communities.
Right.
I've gone to places like, Southeast Washington, D.C., south side of Chicago, Asbury Park, New Jersey, and I don't want to call them out, but there are communities where people need more help in those communities.
Yes.
That's where my heart is, really reaching out in those communities. And so whether I'm there or whether I'm in Bel Air, California, these 5 fingerprints, if you can put this on your children, that will build them up to be confident and to be able to know who they are and know who they are. So number 1 fingerprint is to let your children know that they are valued. Valued. Okay. Now value, the sense of value comes from the creator. Okay. So they are fearfully and wonderfully made. I never put down a child. Even if I get a child that comes into my office, which is the principal's office, and they're sent there, I don't say, you're so bad. Why are you acting like this? I look at them and say, you're too smart to be in here. That gives me a sense of understanding and a sense of them understanding that I believe in them. I expect more from them. And so the value doesn't come from the person. It comes from the person who created. Like Michelangelo, do you think that the person who's buying the painting was the one who decided the cost of the painting? No. It's the person who drew it, the person who created the masterpiece. And so our children, regardless of what God you believe in, God created our children. They are a gift from God, Psalm 127. And so with that being said, then they are already made in the image of God. They are already wonderful. They are already beautiful. They are already here to create a problem, to actually fix a problem for somebody else. Every child, every person that is here on earth is designed to be the answer for somebody else.
That is true.
And so the quicker they get to understanding that, the quicker they can get to the business of doing that. So it's really important for you as a parent to let your child know that they are valued. The world might not say you are, but mommy and daddy, auntie, grandparents say you are. The second fingerprint is that they are accepted. And the country, where we live now and the dynamics that we're living in now, I deal with a lot. So I'm dealing with relationships where it's mommy, daddy, where the child might, might be transgender, whatever. We're not here to place judgment on anybody. We are here to love humanity. Jesus loved humanity. Okay. And so with that being said is, you want your child to know that you look this way, but I accept you. In this family, we accept you. We accept your thoughts. We want to hear from you. That time out for, do as I say, not as I do, or, be quiet. That's a child's place. No, allow your child to speak. Now, yes, they have to do it in a respectful manner, but allow them to voice their opinion. They have a voice. They are human beings. Because when we go back to old school, how we were taught, be quiet. I'm your parent, authoritative, just don't say anything. We grow up with the fear of even, being able to raise our hand.
Yeah, that's right.
We're fearful because our parents told us to shut up for so long.
That's true.
And so we have to really create children that are able to voice their opinion and to tell you how they're feeling. Boys don't cry. Who told you that? Boys should cry. We need boys to cry so that they can be better men and better husbands for the women. And so, I'm really big with authenticity and vulnerability and really allowing children to be accepted for who they are, not for who we want them to be, not for making them like us. I didn't want my son to be necessarily like me. I wanted him to take the qualities of leading, guiding, directing, and putting him, using his bend in the right direction, but not making him like a mini me. I didn't want to do that. And so each child has a specific DNA, a distinct natural ability. And it's up to us to observe that child and to see, wow, they like music, they like dancing. Let me put them in music class. Let me put them in dance class. Oh, they like to read. Oh, they like to think. Oh, maybe they want to be an author like Tate, whatever. You have to watch your child, look at your child and observe your child and then create and steer them in that direction. And that's what the Bible says when it says train up the child. It's not train them up in what you want them to be. It's train them up in how their bent was. for how God created them, because he knows, the purpose that he has for them. So that's the second fingerprint. The third fingerprint is to really allow your child to let them know that they are capable, of accomplishing anything. I don't care what environment you come up in. You can come up in an environment that is poverty stricken. I did some missions work over in Kenya, and I can't tell you how much it touched my heart to be in Kenya. We thought we were doing some missions work by going there and, taking money and all of this and buying shoes, because we saw them walking, miles with their shoes and the sole of their feet. You can actually see their feet because the soles were like torn off. And we thought, in good spirit, that we were doing the right thing when we said, oh my gosh, they have to walk miles in their shoes or like this. And we went out and bought shoes. And I never forget, this little boy looked at me when we bought all these shoes back. And yes, we thought we were doing a great job, and we were. Our hearts were in the right place. And he looked, but he didn't look like really happy. And I said, hi, aren't you happy about the shoes? And I never forget what he said. He said, yes, Miss Deborah, the shoes are nice, but I'm just so happy that you came to see about us. That's all they cared about. That somebody cared enough. They believed enough in them to come over to Africa to see about them. That was what touched his heart, and it touched mine as well. And so if we can just let children know that they are capable. I was raised by mom and dad until I was 12 years old. I was a daddy's girl. I'm the middle child as well. Any other middle children? So you know what that looks like, right? So my father was the father that really sowed those seeds into my life. And so did my mom, but he was just very good. You are Washington. My former name, Washington. You are Washington, and you are brilliant, and you are this. Before I went to school every single day, I'm telling you, Louisa, I thought I was the president's kid going the way my father built us up. And so 3 days before my 12th birthday, I came home and daddy was gone. No conversation, no nothing. He was just gone. And my mother and father had separated. And so for a child that's 12 years old, it wasn't that he left mommy. I felt like he left me.
Yes.
But what he gave me in those 12 years was priceless.
Wow.
Took me to places like Oxford University, took me to places like Wesleyan University, took me at being, the top of my class. I didn't care who else was in the room. I knew I was capable because daddy told me I was for 12 years. Wow. And then the fourth fingerprint is to let children know that they are forgiven. I think oftentimes, it's hard because I deal with so many parents, and it's hard for them to say, I'm sorry. When we make mistakes, we're not perfect. Allow your children to see your flaws. We are not perfect beings. We are just human beings, trying to do the very best we can each and every day to do better so that we can have, every opportunity to create this little one to be a better adult. But we don't always get it right. It's trial and error, and it's a process.
That's true.
But I'm telling you, when you have God with you, you're a step above, okay? And so let the child know that they are forgiven. We all make mistakes, but they are not a mistake because they made a mistake.
Ooh.
And then finally, the fifth fingerprint is to let them know that they are loved. And I mean unconditionally loved. I mean agape type of love. I don't mean, because you wash the dishes, I'm praising you. No. It's the love that even when you did wrong, even when you were disobedient, even when you were disrespectful, and we're going to correct that behavior, but even when you're that, I still love you. And love to a child, going back to time, is not spelled Love. It's spelled Time. Love is spelled Time. It's a verb, not a noun. We got to do something about that.
Wow, this is so great, guys. I don't know how you feel about this session, but I'm gonna have to watch this video over and over again. And I have a comment from the audience here. Says that's exactly what I do. I tell my kids, you are strong, you are brilliant, you are capable, you are beautiful, you are worthy. I look straight into their eyes when telling them this. And thank you so much for sharing that blessing. Thank you so much, Dr. Deborah. This is like the moment of truth, guys, because there's so much disconnect in a lot of families, and it shouldn't be so, especially being brought up from African descent. Of course, sometimes the parents might go from being strict and just going overboard and not knowing where to stop. And of course, I'm not saying, guys, that working with your child is going to take away your position as a parent. I'm not saying that, but you can still work with them. Just like Dr. Deborah said, you have to have an understanding. You know where to stop, you know where to put the stop, but you have to have an understanding. And I really love that you shared about forgiveness. That is so important, Dr. Deborah. A lot of children have gone the other way. A lot of children have dropped out. A lot of children have just given up just because the parents could not forgive.
Mhm.
It's a big thing.
Yeah, they suffer in silence.
I love that you mentioned that, because parents were so good at just keeping records of what the child has done. So as soon as he breaks another thing, it's like, yes, and you did this and that. Yesterday you did this 3 days ago, and then last month you did this, and last year, I remember September last year you did that, and then 3 years ago when you were 5 years. Guys, you need to let go. You need to let go. I mean, think about it. If God did not forgive you, where would you be? It's okay to deal with the problem, but let it go. Because without forgiveness, you cannot love the child. And sometimes we make a mistake. We just believe that because we brought the child into the world, that we love the child. No, no, no. They're two different things. You can bring the child into the world, that's okay. But loving the child is a process. And so there's so many things you have to do, all of what Dr. Deborah has shared. And I know it's not easy, guys. It's not easy. But you have to be intentional about it. That when your old self tries to show up, you're gonna put a stop and like, okay, if my old self, for example, my old self is called Susan, and it's like, Susan, wait a minute. No, I want to be Louisa. I don't want to be Susan today because it's not working for me. So please, please, and please, and this is for me too, and I'm learning so much, and I want us to do better. I want you to become a civility ambassadors to pass on this message, because there are people who are not here, who haven't listened to this video, who hasn't listened to this session. But what would make us happy is if you go and share this with your tiny group, talk to your tribe, share this with your child, and begin to do things differently. And I'm so sure that if you've never spent time with your kids before, and then you just showed up and said, oh yeah, we're going to be having some family time, you're going to be like, wow, mom, really? But you know what? Things will begin to go get better. Even with watching a movies with your kids, you hear the comments that they make. You hear their opinions. And then something shows up in the movie and said, oh yeah, that happened to John in the class. You want to hear those things, because there's so much pain and unrest in the world. There's such an increase in percentage of children who are committing suicide, mental health, and all of that. And all of this stems from not having the right relationship with the children in the home. So parents, I'm going to come back to you and really press on that there's so much work for you to do. Teachers are not going to do it. You don't want to wait till it's out of hand and your son or daughter is like 20 something years and it's out of hand. You're looking for a therapist when you could have been one if you were just doing what you should do, if you were paying more attention, if you were spending more time with them. That's the only way we're going to be able to correct what is happening in the world. There's so much pain. The children are walking around with so much pain. A little child goes to school and picks out his gun and shoots. Listen, it's not about buying the gun. There's a story behind it. And I'm going to share a personal example, with you. In my daughter's school, there was this child who was a bully. She just started being a bully in their class. And this was in grade 4 at the time. And my daughter said, Mom, she's being so weird. And so one day she did something to my daughter and said something nasty. And my daughter was upset and said, oh, no, she did something nasty. And of course, the other kids reported this child to the counselor. So the counselor decided to invite all the parents to kind of have a conversation about it, that, oh, if your daughter or your son had come back home to say this, this is what is happening. And I asked the counselor one question, and I said, have you had this chat with the parents of this child? It's not about the other kids, but let us find out what is happening to this child. What's happening in the family? There's something happening in the family that's stirring this up. No one is going to be normal for all their lives, and then one day, boop, just show up being a monster. No, something led to that. And you know what? A couple of days later, the counselor sent me a letter and said, you know what, Mr. Kaiser, you were right. This child was actually the parents were going through a divorce. And so she had to be going back and forth to the parents' home. So Monday to Friday, she's here, and Saturday and Sunday, she's here. And she's never been like that before. She's never experienced that. She couldn't rest. She had to be in daycare and after school program because there was no one to take care of her. So, of course, she comes to school to pass on that grievance, pass on that frustration on the other children. So you see where something could happen in the school, and everyone was pointing fingers that this child is a bully. This child is a bully. She's bad. She's weekend. She's there. She does not talk. No, it had to do with the parents. So parents, please, we have to work together. It's just not, listen, we're not just going to get that best child if we do not work together. We have to work together, and you have resources available for you. Dr. Deborah is happy to work with you. She has a great team and are happy to work with you. Maybe you're facing a challenge or something you're going through. You need some guidance. They are ready to work with you. So this is going to go to my last question for you. And some of you are just joining us. I'm sorry, guys, that I cannot, this is so interesting. I cannot come back to those who are just coming in, but I want to let you know that I really love you and thank you so much for joining us. I hate to say that you're late to the party, but you have access to the video on my page, okay, to watch it again. And so because we have limited time, I have my final question for you, Dr. Deborah, which is, can you expand on your 7 practices on helping to raise a kinder or gentle generation? What are those things that parents can do to help the children become a better generation tomorrow? Over to you, Dr. Deborah.
So one of the first things that parents can do, because I'm really practical, like people always look at me and say, wow, you come into my house and I think it's chaotic. But when you get here, it just seems like it calms down. And I don't think I don't wave a magic wand to be able to do that. Obviously, I go in with the Spirit of the Lord. But the bottom line is I can see the forest for the trees because I'm the outsider coming in.
Yes.
And so for parents, what we need to do is to set the standard. That's number one, set the standard. So I often go in and I say, what are the rules of the house? Because without rules, there's chaos. And parents say, oh, the kids know the rules. The kids know the rules. But then I go to the children and they say, I don't know what the rules are. So nobody knows what the rules are. So there's these invisible rules that are in the house. And what I tell parents to do, first things first, okay? Write down the rules, okay? And the rules can just be 5 rules, whatever issue that you're dealing with in your house, or say you're not dealing with any issue, but these are things that you want. What do you want children to do? Listen, right? That's the first thing, okay? You want the children to honor their mother and their father. So that could just be a rule. Honor mom and dad. Simple, right? Speak kind words. Civility. You want them to speak kind words. That's the second rule. Third rule could be keep your hands and your feet to yourself. Why? Because we don't want people violent hitting each other, right? And then, so whatever rule it is, I try to keep it with 5 or less. And you never hear me say don't, no, or stop. It's always a positive. So use your listening ears, speak kind words, honor your mother and the father. Okay, and then you can add 2 more. If they're younger children, I would make those rules visible with like a picture of a mouth with speak kind words, make it visible, have them help you draw it, and then hang it somewhere so that you're not reacting every time a rule is broken. You take your child to the poster that they created and agreed to and say, what's happening here? See, no high blood pressure when you do that.
Yeah.
You don't have a rule and everybody thinks there's a rule and you're screaming and hollering and saying, you're supposed to listen to me. You're supposed to. Why? Why are we doing that? And so I always say respond instead of react. Okay, we want to do that. So set the standard first. That's the first thing. Then you want to treat everyone better. We talked a lot about that. You know, I'm really into being kind. I know that there's so many different activities going on. But what I do at my school is that we do Live to Give program. Okay. And so my children actually put on gloves, 3-year-olds putting on gloves, and they make bologna and cheese sandwiches for the homeless every month.
Wow.
And then they know where they're going. Like we literally take pictures and say, these went to these children, because obviously we can't take them to a shelter, but they can know that they are at least contributing to society. Every quarter we go to a supermarket like Safeway or Giant or whatever you have. And then we go and we have a partnership with the store where they tell us, you know, the parents that have the that are on subsidy,
yes.
Right? And they kind of like just, you know, because it's confidential, they kind of know because there's a specific card that they use. And we literally go and say, you are the 7th parent or you are the 7th person, and we're buying your food for today. And we buy their food.
Wow.
And so and then we take the kids with us, like 3, 4, 5-year-olds, we take them with us so that they can actually see what treating people better looks like. And then we're always leading by example, where we're always saying, please, the 2 small words that have the biggest meaning, please and thank you. Any parent can do that. Teach your child please and thank you. Just respect and manners. Very easy. So treat everyone better is the second point. The third point is, again, I told you already, respond instead of react. The fourth one is turn off technology. And I'm really serious about this. Turn off technology and tune into your children. The world is really trying to get us distracted and keeping us away from our children. And again, we are losing an entire generation because we are not tuning into our children. Suicide is the second leading cause of death, and that should not be.
Yes.
Teenage suicide, that should not be. The next point is connect before you correct. You want to connect with your children, communicate with them before you start doling out what you didn't do, how you didn't do. I put a parent on 21-day elimination of 3 C's. And the 3 C's are don't criticize, don't complain, and don't compare. And if they try, and parents always write me back and say, I tried it for 1 day and I can't, oh my gosh. And I say, and don't just do it for your children, do it for your spouse, your partner. Don't complain, don't compare, and don't criticize. That is a lot more difficult than it seems. But if, you know, the people can do that, that will be one step closer to building a kinder and gentler nation. And then finally, I would say have an attitude of gratitude. Yeah, have an attitude of gratitude, and then empower and educate your children. You already said it, that it's not just the teachers. God bless all of the teachers of the world, but we should not put the onus on teachers to raise our children. We have to educate and empower our children ourselves so that then they can be equipped with when life comes at them, when struggles comes at them, and trust me, it will. When the pressure and challenges come at them, they have something on the inside to gird them up and to keep them stable and not only survive, but actually thrive in this world.
Wow, this is powerful. Thank you so much. And I have Harifa from the UK joining us. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Sikarni, my friend. It's so good to have you. If you are just joining us for the first time, you are late to the party. But you will have access to this video, and the title for today, our topic was The Heart of Parenting. And what a better person for us to be working with this morning was America's Supernanny. Yay! I'm going to keep screaming. Every time that I say that, I have to scream. This is amazing. Dr. Tillman, thank you for the work that you do. Thank you so much. I have learned a lot, and I can imagine there's so much hearts and thumbs up going on. And guys, the final 7 that we just grabbed. You want to write that, put it on your door so that you do not forget. Write down the rules, treat everyone better, respond instead of react, turn off technology and tune into your children. I love that. I love that because that affects everyone. Connect before you correct. Don't criticize, complain, compare. That's a big thing because parents love to do that. John is better than you, Susan is better than you, and okay, okay, okay. Attitude of gratitude. Empower and educate your children. Those are the final 7 that we had for today. Thank you so much, Sikani. It's always good to have you in the house. If you're just joining us, of course, you do know that you have access to this video. It's going to be downloaded and put on YouTube later today. And we will also have it on Instagram. And guys, I want to say thank you, and thank you again. And Dr. Deborah, I cannot thank you enough. Thank you.
Welcome. You're so very welcome.
Thank you
Thank
for the
you,
work.
Lisa. Thank you so much. And continue to go out and be a light for the world.
Amen. Thank you. So, guys, if you want to reach out to Dr. Deborah, can you share with us how they can reach out to you?
Sure. They can go to info@debrahltillman.com, or they can go to my website, www.debrahltillman.com.
Perfect. So please go there and send an email, and someone is definitely going to be in touch with you. And then if you didn't get that, you can also send me an email, louisa@thecivilityacademy.com. Let us know what you're doing. Do you think you're doing something great and you want to be featured on our sessions? Of course, we would like to work with you. The only thing is that we'll have to kind of have a chat and just make sure that your message aligns with what we're doing here, because we're not going to bring something that's totally different from what we're doing. So get in touch with me. Send me an email, louisa@thecivilityacademy.com. If there are any sessions or any topics that you want to learn, it is something that we haven't addressed. We've been doing this for over a year. And thank you for all of you always giving your feedbacks and mails and text messages. They mean so much to me because it just helps us. This show is for you. So I want to know the best way to do it. Is this something that you want to learn that you haven't heard yet? If you still have a question, please post it in the comment box below. I know that Dr. Deborah deals with everything because I kind of feel like, oh my God, I have to go and fix myself too. So yes, if you still have a question, bring it on and I will pass it on to Dr. Deborah and she'll be happy to work with that for you. So some of you have been talking about the book study. We're going to get it started soon. I don't know if you got a copy of my book yet, but this is the Poetic Civility, not this one. But the book study is going to be on the civilized leader. So please grab your copy. Some people have already done that. And I have to apologize that we haven't started it yet because summer is always so busy, a lot of programs for children and all that. So I've been extremely busy. And I know you've been asking for the lunchtime sessions. We're going to go back to that. But let's work with our young people first. So please forgive me that we haven't started the lunch hour sessions. I missed that too, the hot and sharp 15 minutes. And we're going to get back to that very soon. So I will see you again, guys, on Monday at 8 a.m. Eastern time. I want to say thank you. Go out and be the light, be the change. Turn on the light. So if you didn't turn it on, turn it on. Okay, be the change. Share this message, share this video to as much people. Go back and listen to it and put it down. If you have to write it on a sticker note and put it on your door, please do, because you might not be able to get everything. So write it down, and every time try to, be your own accountability partner. Go back to the list and check. Am I doing this well? Where am I missing out? Where am I losing out? Where do I have to learn? Where do I have to work on? And that's the only way you're going to be that best parent that you've always wanted to be. So thank you. Go out and be the change. You are amazing. I love you guys. You are wonderful. You're the best viewers ever. Thank you. And I'll see you again on Monday, same time. Take care and have a wonderful rest of the day. Bye for now.